Had a bit of a problem. Last trip down to this part of the world, we were fishing for whiting, found some kingfish, and I thought I had it out of my system. A big front came through and we couldn't fish for a few days, but the weather's now come good and I just can't help myself. I've got to come back for a proper kingfish assault. So here we are, drifting through some shallow reef, live bait, surface lures, soft plastics. We're going to really mix it up today and hopefully find ourselves a couple of really nice kingfish. The wind's come up a little bit, and while that may slow the popper fishing down a touch, I'm going to switch over to a live bait. I've got a bridle rigged cowan young here, and I'm just going to drop him back a couple of metres and put it on the downrigger. I'm not going to put it very far on the downrigger, probably just, 3 or 4 metres down. Just going to help hold him down below the surface a bit, put him back about 10 or 15 metres, and then we'll just slow troll it. And while I'm slow trolling it, I will put a popper out as well. We'll see how we go. That puts him about 10 metres back, just lightly in the clip. Now, it's time to start fishing. I'll just get us in gear, get a bit of forward movement. You need to have that bit of forward movement because otherwise your bomb will go in the water and just start spinning around, which will then tangle up your main line. It's down 12 foot, 4 metres or so, which should be about perfect. Now the final thing I'm going to do is troll my popper, because that alone, whether they eat it or not, it's the noise and stuff that really helps bring them up. Just going to ease around. I don't think he's very big, but anyway, that's a start. Just ease him up. Really just try not to upset him too much. It's funny, you tend to get the bites right along the edge of the reef, which is where the kingies hang, and in the big sand holes. Okay. And you see then when I hooked that fish, there was no savage strike or anything. I just put the reel into gear. Hang on. This wind's sort of pushing the nose of the boat and not letting the boat turn the way I need it to. But anyway, we'll make it up as we go. Yeah, we're out in fairly good water now. The sand's just out over there. So now I'm just going to try and lead him, get him away from those engines. And now we're sort of safe. Well, that's the theory anyway. I should be able to just go out of gear, get the downrigger up. You see it's not overly heavy tackle. It's just a little Makira 10. And it's well and truly plenty enough tackle for this fish. And just on a little sort of 10 kilo T-spec overhead. And the idea of this is that I don't want to upset the fish. So the lighter gear, the softer rod, still not quite as aggressive. Hopefully won't cause too many dramas. When we get this fish in, if we get this fish in, you'll see the little tiny hook that I'm using. It's a 6.0 Black Magic GZ on just a bit of 80-pound leader. No need to go heavy on the leader. The big kings don't have teeth. It's more just like sandpaper. And the lighter leader has your bait swimming better. And the little tiny live bait hook, I firmly believe, is one of the great keys to catching kings, because you've got to take into account that on a live bait, they'll come up and look at it, and quite often they'll follow it for 20 or 30 metres before they decide to eat it. And if it's got a great big hook hanging out of it, they'll quite often not eat it. I still don't think he's done yet, but I'll get that net ready for when he is. So good having a telescopic handle on your net too. Saves a lot of space in the boat. There's the shock leader. I'm watching pretty closely too to see if he's got mates with him, because quite often they will just do that, have a whole lot of mates with them. Bad news for this guy is he's got a bit of blood coming out of his gills. He's obviously scoffed that bait pretty hard. So I think we'll be keeping this guy. These kingfish in Victoria taste awesome too, because they live in the cooler water. They've got a lot of fat content. They just taste absolutely awesome. Their meat's really firm, and you find quite often up in the warmer waters, I know a lot of people say when you catch them up in southern Queensland, they're generally not worth eating. Their meat's all milky and white and soft. Must be something to do with the hot water. They just never give up, these guys. They just don't know when enough is enough. There we go. Let's chuck this in free spool, ratchet on. That there, and that'll do. Gotta love kingies no matter where you catch them. Here, the East Coast, Norfolk Island, Lord Howe Island, I just love them. What started as a great day on the kingfish quickly changed when the warm northerly breeze turned to the south, dropping the air temperature and barometer. This in turn shut the kingfish bite down. Not to be outdone, a few weeks later I headed back to the same area to try and get even on these often fussy fish. This time, however, I was faced with another unplanned obstacle in the form of cold green water that had moved in along the coastline. So rather than cut short a great day fishing, it was time to go to plan B, which saw us move further east along the coastline to Waratah Bay in search of gummy and school sharks. We're just sounding our way along in 23, 24 metres of water. There is so much broken reef through here that finding a spot can sometimes be a little bit difficult because there is so many great spots. I'm not actually going on a GPS mark here. You can see the GPS is totally clean, not a mark there, because I want to find my own mark. What I'm looking for is a step in the reef, something that comes up maybe 2 metres, 4 metres, 5 metres, whatever. We're in 23 at the moment, and I'm sure somewhere along here we'll find a bit of a lump. There we go, it's just starting to climb now. 22, 21, 20, there we go. This is the spot. This will do. I'm not going to muck around. I'm not going to try and find something better because I'm pretty sure that this will be good. Well, I certainly didn't have a lot of bait, but the great thing in this part of the world, it doesn't take long to catch something. Nice hard reef that is loaded with wrasse, pieces of pilchard just on a simple paternoster rig, and it only took a couple of minutes to get a few of these blue throat wrasse. They're quite a popular species, but for now they're going to make some great bait for hopefully what's going to be some big school sharks or gummies. I'm going to cut them into chunks. If you use fillets and stuff, they're good too, but a nice chunk like this will last a lot longer with all the pickers, and the pickers being more wrasse. So very simply through there, they're very scaly, sort of messy fish. Just crack that tail off. That's a good bait on its own. And then that there is what we're going to be using. Nice white meat. It's very, very firm. Too simple. I reckon that might have been a schoolie. Took off pretty quick. Anyhow, we'll never know. Re-rig. Alright, time to re-rig after that shark kindly bit me off. Bit of the 80-pound tough trace, always handy in these leader coils. I've got 40, 60 and 80-pound tough trace, and then I've got 40 and 60-pound fluorocarbon, but you can have it however you like. I'm going to show you how to make a paternoster rig very easily. Cut yourself a decent length of line. Then we're going to tie a short dropper loop in this. And the dropper loop's going to be 800 mil or so up from the sinker. Make a nice loop about that big, hold it together, and then you're going to sort of be twisting these two sides. So you're holding this side as well as that side, and you can see we've got twists going there Okay, twist that side, and there's twists that side. Then fingers through, grab that loop, pull it back up through this gap, then just slowly work it together. Sorry about that mumbling. Slowly work it together, wet the knot when it's about there, and one quick pull like that, and you've got a proper dropper loop knot. Then I will trim this up. You can leave it as it is and just have it as a loop, but I like to trim it. Then good old 70KL. I go through the eye of the hook from the bottom, make a loop, hold that piece of line there, and then just wrap this once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and 6 times around there. It's a little bit fiddly, takes a little bit of practice, but that is a proper snell knot, tying the line around the shank of the hook. Trim that up. There's our dropper, nice and short, and that's the trick. Make them short. If they're long, they'll sort of tangle around the main line and you just end up with more problems. Then at the bottom of this rig, a nice big loop and a simple overhand knot through there. And that is what our sinker will attach to, so we can change our sinkers whenever we need to, sizes or whatever to suit the situation. There you go, a nice simple rig that can catch your fish anywhere around the country. Swivel on that end, join it to the rod, chuck your bait on, chuck your sinker on, and you're back fishing. I was just in the process of trying to get a wrasse off the line on one of the other rods, and this just buckled over. We've had a few bite-offs from school sharks and stuff today, so now I'm working on the theory as soon as that rod sort of gets a hit, trying to jump on it as quick as possible, whereas normally you just let it load up. But today, for whatever reason, the schoolies seem to just be swallowing the baits too deep and then biting us off, so fingers crossed, getting on that rod a bit quicker might pay off. He hasn't put in a big run yet. In fact, I would almost call this as a 7 gill, because you do get plenty of these around here, and I did drop a few lots of burley before with the secret weapon. Yeah, it's a... Oh, hang on. No! Now that's a bit unexpected. The sort of fight that we had, it's a really nice gummy. Look at that. She's sort of happy sitting there for a sec, so I'll just get rid of the door. Now, there's the shock leader. Here comes the gummy. She's got that 60 KL on the snapper snatcher right in the corner of the jaw. Really nice fish, this one. I'll just get the net, which I'm just sitting up on the nose of the boat because it's nice and calm. This will probably go very badly here. One person and a fish that's not really going to fit in there too well. Gee, she's a bit bigger than I thought. She was, even in the water I didn't think it was this big. Just trying to get a nice grip on her so I don't get her hurt, but that's a quality sort of offshore gummy, nice and fat, good condition, quite dark in colour, and yeah, that's good. We might pop her back, I reckon. I'm just gonna slide her back in. Oh, yeah, I think she's right, she's off. I'm not happy with that at all. Well, the 7 giller, that was a big gummy. Now I'll hope for another 7 giller that might be a big school shark. Something. Doesn't feel so good. You never ever know. Quite often big fish will scream off, but at other times big fish will play doggo till they get near the boat. I have no idea what's going on here. It's heavy. It's just a little Andros reel on a little 6 to 10 kilo overhead stick, 20-pound rainbow braid, and a lot of people will be saying they'd normally use, ugh, look at that. That's what you'd call an undesirable. That's a 7-gill shark. Pretty common in this part of the world. Not the prettiest thing in the world. No dorsal fin and 7 gills. They've got a head like a tiger shark and they've actually got teeth like a tiger shark. But as I was saying, 20-pound braid, a lot of people are worried that 20-pound braid's not enough, but 20-pound braid is like as strong as 30-pound mono. And he cleanly bit us off. That's the end of my rig. Great. That was a snapper snatcher. Now in these offshore reef areas, you can either burley or not. It's up to you. It's a bit of a double-edged sword. Sometimes too much burley and you'll end up bringing in a whole lot of rubbish. But in this sort of area, it's not a bad thing because bringing the wrasse and everything in is what will help bring the gummy sharks and the school sharks in. Great way I like to burley is use what's known as a secret weapon. Just get a bunch of pillies or pellets or whatever. But either way, I really do like a burley that's more chunky rather than super fine. Get your secret weapon, load it in there. And this sort of equates to about a handful of burley. Shut the trapdoor. Oh, got a bit hanging out there. Shut that trapdoor. I've got a bit of extra weight added on the bottom. Come in and just drop this guy straight over the side. And what will happen when this goes down, it falls down like a nice big cylinder, doesn't get a lot of water pressure. As it hits the bottom, this trapdoor will just fall open and your burley will fall out and you've dropped it on the sea floor or wherever you want. But for now, I'm going to drop it right down here. Let it sort of free fall, and it's just hit the bottom. Give it one jiggle. Now I'll just wind it up. Nice and quick, and it really is such an effective way to burley in deep water because in many other situations there's no way to get big pieces of burley down, especially if there's a bit of tide or whatever. And I've even got my free piece of kelpie weed to know that this was actually on the bottom. Too easy. I ripped that clean out when that trapdoor hit the bottom. We now have a bunch of pilly cubes down there doing their thing for us. All right, the outfit I've got here, little Selena 5000 Rapala Axis rod. It's basically a heavy snapper rod. The whole outfit is not expensive, but it's perfect for this sort of fishing and a lot of other styles. There we go. Get him around this side, I think. Get this out the way. In fact, as per usual, whichever way you go is the wrong way. Not sure what this is, but good head shakes on this guy, which makes me feel a little more confident that it could be a school shark. But we'll just wait and see. You can see back inshore there, that's grinder point. And this area through here is just so good for gummies and schoolies. That is a huge gummy shark. That is an absolute thumper. Wow. Now this is going to be a bit of fun to try and get in the boat. That is a monster. Look at the size of that. Now normally, I don't have too many problems landing fish on my own, but I think what I'll do is get Clarky to put his coffee down for a minute. And I might get you in, mate, with the net, because this guy's going to struggle to fit in the net on my own, and then he's going to go bananas. I'm going to actually guide around the back of the boat because we've got the side door on the other side. And this is where I would never buy another boat ever without a side door. It just makes life so much easier, whether it's a big tuna or even just netting a big gummy like this, only having to lift it that far to get it in the boat rather than up over the gunnels. So there you go, mate. Oh, that is huge. You right? That is as big a gummy as you could ever hope to see, I reckon.
That, mate?
Mate, that is an absolute donkey. Thank you for that. It would have gone very pear-shaped, I think, if I'd tried to do that on my own. Now, what I'm going to do, first of all, is just cut this line, because that's going to get tangled in stuff. Settle down, settle down. I'm trying not to let her hurt herself too much. Her whacking her tail against my legs is a lot better for her than smacking them into the side of the boat. So I'll just actually pin her down like this, and she'll stop in a second. There, that hook's fallen out. 7.0 KL. And if you just settle down for a sec, sweetie, it'll be a whole lot better. Now that is a big gummy. And they're just so strong. I seriously did not expect to catch a fish of this caliber out here. She is an absolute cracker. Gotta be 25 kilo, something like that. Wowee. Well, I'm not gonna muck around with her. She's in good condition. She's still got plenty of kick about her. So I'll just pop her back in the water. Sometimes in fishing, you pull a rabbit out of a hat.
Well done, mate.
Thanks, Clarky.
Back to producing for me.
Back to your coffee. I might have a cold drink and ditch the jumper, I think. Can't believe a fish that size out here. And what's turning out to be a nice day.